This is an X-Peng G6, and if you're thinking, what on earth is an X-Peng G6? Well, put it this way, according to X-Peng, this is a direct competitor of the Tesla Model Y. Look, so I want to start by firstly talking about the design of this car, right? It's a pretty nice looking car. I think there's so many options of cars right now. And you think, well, what's the difference? We've got these kind of ultra slim lights. We've got this massive air intake, which has been engineered and designed to take air in a certain way when you're dealing with high speeds. As the battery inside the vehicle needs cooling, whether it be hot, whether it be cold, the active air intake is going to open automatically and close as it needs cooling. What we've also got is these radar sensors that sit all around the car. The tech in this car is pretty phenomenal. Initially on the front, I think, well, this is a hate it or love it style, I have to say. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, you might not be a fan of the lights. You might not be a fan of the way the lights sit out here, right? Alternative, I think you're gonna love it. You can't coast. You can't say, well, yeah, the lights look okay. They've gone for a bold design, and bold design means choice. So you're either gonna like the design or you're not. For me, I think the lights look well. I think it gives a bit of a different presence on the road, makes you look back at it and think, well, what's that? That looks a little bit different. And I think that's a good thing. Now, one thing I'd like to know your opinion on is the color. X-Peng called this car fiery orange, and it certainly is fiery. Now, if I go for cars, I'm not gonna lie, I like black, I like gray, maybe silver on a crazy day. This is a loud color. This is fiery orange. I don't want to pull up somewhere and then be like, here's Luke in his fiery orange car. But if you like this kind of thing, it's not like a direct bright orange. It's almost like a metallic fiery orange. So definitely adds definition to the car. If this was a black X-Peng, we probably wouldn't notice some of the dashes. You know, this active air intake will probably sit a little bit more subtle. What we've also got in the color options is Arctic white, graphite gray, midnight black, and silver frost that sit next to the fiery orange. Now, as I walk around the side of the G6, right, the biggest thing I notice is the amount of cameras on this vehicle. And we'll talk about the interior, but after driving this car, the vision is absolutely ridiculous. There's a camera on every side, a radar or a sensor on this side, on that side, under the headlamp. As we go around the back, there's so many cameras on this car. I'm basically driving a CCTV unit across the vehicle that can see the whole road in front of me, the side of the road, the pavement, the back. Like, I'm to the point where, like, what are we trying to see? Alloy wheels are 20-inch wheels, and it's got this sort of bi-color feel. I get like a gray graphite feel on the inside with the silver on the exterior. A lot of wheels in cars do look similar to each other. Let's not beat around it, but they sit with the fiery orange. It's nice, 20-inch, they look well. I want to talk about this black strip here. Love the design, X-Peng, but what is this black strip? It almost feels a little bit random, right? On certain cars, you might get a trim level that comes with a black trim. For example, a Porsche Cayenne, you used to be able to get a standard Porsche Cayenne, and then you'd upgrade to something like the sports package, which takes away the plastic trims from the side, right? The design on this, you've got the body color, and we've got a black trim that comes above the wheel, and then we're back to the body color. Me personally, I'd like a full body colored trim. I want it to be the same. So in this, you'd see the fiery orange all the way through. If that's the design, that's the design. It's not the end of the world. But it's like a plastic trim here that comes all the way through. I just know that a body colored trim would look fully better if it went all the way through, being honest. But other than that, it's a cool looking design. Going back to this Tesla Model Y comparison, right? Look at the door handles. They pop out, exact same door handles, exactly the same. So it gives you more of that, I don't want to say we're copying, but there's a Tesla competitor feel. So in terms of the rear of the car, for me, clean, sporty, and premium feel straight away. And let me talk about that a little bit more in depth. We've got this slim light mirroring from the front that comes all the way around to the back. And the way this sport spoiler sits on the back, I get a sport feeling. It doesn't look basic. It doesn't look like a standard trim. It looks like I've gone for the highest trim in the car. So we've got this similar contrast coming through where we've got the black on top of the fiery orange, right? It's that sport feeling. We've got a black bumper at the bottom, a little bit of graphite. We've got the black lights coming through and the black privacy glass along with the sport styling trim. Makes a big difference to say one of the chrome looking or plastic trim. On top of that, we've also got the tech. We've got cameras around the car. Parking sensors on this car seems such like a basic feature when there's that much tech going involved. So I'm on the inside of the car, right? And the technology feels exciting. But before I get into that, what's the design like is the biggest question. The G6 comes in a couple of different leather options. None of them are cost options. It's just basically the color that you want. It's black or it's light gray. Black or gray, but I'm calling it light gray because it's almost borderline white. So bear in mind if you've got kids or if you're doing a lot of transporting, these are very light gray leather seats, all right? Every single option is a vegan leather option, right? Going for that sustainable factor. Some cars you get in the leather, you think, well, this isn't really leather, this isn't great. A big win on this is the leather. The light gray, it feels very luxurious. Because the tech's so high, I kind of feel like I'm sat in an Apple shop, I'm not gonna lie. So another thing on the interior is this absolutely enormous screen in front of us. 15-inch screen as standard, as well as a 10-inch screen in front of the driver. Now, I feel like screens in cars are competing with each other and getting bigger and bigger. I wouldn't be surprised if we had like some massive plasma screen sat on the front dash. It's a 15-inch screen. There's so much visibility in the window, but I've still got this massive screen in front of me. On top of that, I've got a 10-inch screen in front of me on the dash and the driver. I look and I think, well, how does this compare to Tesla? Now, I know in the Tesla, you don't get the front screen in front of the driver, but Tesla's screen is still enormous. A lot of similarities. Standout thing for me in this car is the steering wheel, right? It's a flat bottom steering wheel. Very different to a lot of other cars. It feels extremely sporty. Definitely a different shape with it being flat bottom. In terms of the controls, the adjustable steering wheel is manual. Now this car has got so much tech. I would have thought that the steering wheel would be electric adjustable in terms of manual, given everything else that it's got on, you know. The seats are fully electric. I mean, the seats are ventilated, they're also heated. Heated seats are another feature that we see in a lot of options in terms of cars. The car's got cooled seats as standard. Like what? Cooled seats as standard. As a result, if a car's got fully electric seats and it's got cooled seats as standard, the 1%. I'm thinking an electric steering wheel to control it. I am told that in other country specifications that there might be electric adjustable steering wheel options, but in the UK, it's a manual adjusting steering wheel. Something I've seen which is a little bit different to other manufacturers is we've got wireless phone charging on both sides. Something cool. I've not seen a lot of that before. On top of that, we've also got vents to cool the phone. Again, I've not really seen that before. Does the phone get hot? Does it even need cooling? I don't know, but if it does, it's there and it can be cooled. This car's clearly got some phenomenal technology, right? But what about the basics? We keep talking about cars getting so excited about the tech and all these other things and missing out the basics. We've got two cup holders right in front of me here, right? The cup holders do look a tiny bit slim. So you got to bear in mind that if you've got a really fat coffee cup, you're not getting it in there. Maybe one of them large venti things they sell at Starbucks will go in. But if you've got a really fat coffee cup, probably gonna have to get a new coffee cup. Simple as that. The storage space on this car is pretty cool. If I open this central dash, the depth of this thing is absolutely massive. I'd just throw so much stuff in there, it's crazy. We've got this sort of under storage compartment. I've seen this in other cars, similar to the Land Rover Defender. And then you got your pockets on the inside. You have got a lot of storage under here, and you have got a lot of storage in here, which makes up for it, because there is no glove box. X-Peng want to go for more leg room for the passenger. You've still got loads of room in the central and everything else, but there's no glove box. So one of the most important tests that we do on this video is the rear, the space test. Now I've left the seat in the same position that I would drive the car in. A little bit further back than the average person. And sometimes I've got in the back when we've done these videos and I thought that's a little bit tight. Could we go on a long journey to that? I'm not gonna lie, I've got loads of room. Look at my feet. Usually, if it's tight, my knees are touching the upper sort of part of the chair. I could honestly sit comfortable in here for a long time. This is one of the better versions we've done of this. Again, we don't see this in a lot, is I can actually adjust the rear seat. Watch this. So I can go further back. I'm getting chauffeured. So I lift the seat back and forth. On top of that, I can pull this down. And we're in a nice place. Two rear cup holders, take the seat back. We're absolutely winning. One thing to be mindful of, if you are taking your seat all the way back and you're going to take it to the full recline, you better have a lid on that coffee. Right now I'm sat in a reclining seat with loads of leg room with my cup holders. Not a bad place to be. On top of that, I've got these loads of storage. I've got my two USB-C ports. I am so geared up for a long journey right now in this car. So the G6 has a boot capacity of 571 litres, right? Let's directly compare that to the Tesla Model Y. The Tesla Model Y claim a boot space of 854 litres. And I know what you're thinking, the Model Y boot space is absolutely bigger. Now, one thing I want to point out, which Joel has kindly researched for us, who's holding the camera right now, is that Tesla measure the boot space all the way to the top of the boot, right? You're thinking, well, surely they should do that. Well, apparently it's industry standard to measure the boot space to the parcel shelf, because you're not going to fill the boot above the parcel shelf and kill your rear view. So when we're looking at that direct comparison, just bear that in mind, right? That it's 554 litres to the parcel shelf. If we're comparing the Model Y, the boot space is 854 to the top load. So they could be very similar. So the boot feels nice, right? And you're probably thinking, how does a boot feel nice? X-Peng have got this kind of over mat, so it sits clean. Open it up, and we've got this under storage here, right here, okay? Plenty of space, standard, you know. It's difficult to get excited about a boot, is all I'd say. Electric tailgate, massive option. I said in my last video that most cars are coming with an electric tailgate, and I think electric tailgate is pretty much becoming now a standard feature, whereas 6 years ago it used to be a luxury. You know, you'd look and think, oh, they've got an electric tailgate, their car's really cool. So the trims and pricing with the G6 are very simple, right? We've got one standard range G6, which is available at $39,990, £10 below that luxury car tax bracket, which makes the car so much better off. And then we've got the long range, which is £45,590. They're your two options, one trim, really simple. Now, one thing I want to find out from you guys is, would you go for the standard range, or would you pay the luxury car tax and pay the premium for the long range? Let me know in the comments. Personally, I would pick the standard range because that luxury car tax can be quite big. Now, you might be thinking $39,990, do I want to spend that on an EV? Look, the most popular way to do this is to lease the cars, right? A lot of these electric vehicles like the X-Peng are taken on a lease. If you're interested in leasing the car, check out VIP Gateway. We have some phenomenal deals on the X-Peng and other cars. If you're not interested in leasing a car, let's get straight back into it. But before we do, you can lease a car for a lot less than you think. So the big question that we're all thinking is, who are X-Peng? Well, they've got one model at the moment, which is the G6, but that's not really what they've done up to now. Look, X-Peng are making robots. I've seen some of these robots. You can have conversations with these things. They'll detect the tone of you. Maybe you're in a bad mood, the robot detects that.
That isn't very reassuring.
What X-Peng also do is they make a flying car. Yes, that's correct, I said it. They make a flying car. Look, the technology, what's going on in the world right now is crazy. We're upgrading so fast. And you reflect that somebody who's producing robots into factories are going to produce a car, the tech's going to be absolutely on point. So the X-Peng G6, fully EV, fully electric. Right now I'm staring out, and the way the windscreen sits, I've got such a huge view. Like literally, I feel like I'm in a lorry right now. So the second thing that instantly hits me is how light this steering is, right? I think X-Peng describe it as light and precise. I'm driving this car and I'm just, you know, the power steering is almost absolutely effortless. Probably one of the lightest I've felt. That's the first thing that I feel straight away. So a big win for the G6 is the multi-valve passive damper system. Now, if you're thinking, what on earth have you just said? Then look, put it this way, let me break it down. The multi-valve passive damper system is a similar suspension technology that is used in things like Porsche and other performance brands, right? So basically it makes the car a lot more adaptive in terms of suspension system, really adds to the drive, and you can feel it straight away. You combine that with the light handling, and it's things like that that really do make the difference with the drive of a car. I've spoken about the huge view, but I also want to talk about the dash, right? Right now I've got a screen in front of me that is showing me individual graphics of all the people around me. We're currently sat in traffic just a minute ago, and the car is showing me the left side. It's not showing me the reverse camera. It's pointing it to the left, right? To say that people are walking on the pavement past. Just beware of that. So then I can see everybody walking. Big fan of the tech within this car. I think that's a big win. I can put this to other premium brands it sits in the exact same model. So the car's 0 to 60 is in just 6 seconds. 282 brake horsepower with 440 torque. Like I've said in previous videos, these EV cars are very quick, a lot of torque into them. So it ticks the box. It's not going to throw you back in your seat. A Tesla Model Y Performance, that's a lot quicker, right? But there's enough power in the car for what it is. Now there's talks of them maybe bringing out an all-wheel drive performance model. So then we directly do have a rival to the Tesla Model Y Performance. Now, if that does happen, the brake horsepower in that car is around 487. I think it's going to be an animal. Now, on a car like this, you know, when we're talking about EVs and high power, the brakes are important, something we often don't talk about. You know, we take brakes for granted. There's different levels with brakes, right? X-Peng offer ventilated brakes, which is standard. Now, you're probably thinking, what are ventilated brakes? Well, look, to simplify it, ventilated brakes allow air to overflow on the brakes and really prevent overheating. So one of the biggest wins with the X-Peng is the self-park, right? I've seen some great self-parking features on cars. You control the brake, you control the accelerator, the car self-parks itself. The technology is ridiculous. Now, with the amount of cameras around this car, it's really enhanced the self-park because X-Peng is one of the small few manufacturers where we don't have to touch the brake or the accelerator. I've literally just pulled up to a space, it comes up on the dash, it says Start Auto Park. I select Start Auto Park, press the button, I take my hands off, and I am not pressing anything right now. I'm not pressing anything. I'm not even pressing the accelerator. The car's watching everything around me. It's going all the way and it's reversing in. I'm literally not pressing a thing, right? It's doing everything, telling me what it's doing on screen. This is pretty exciting stuff. Right? I'm not even stopping the car. The car's put me all the way in. If you can't park, get yourself an X-Peng because you literally have to do nothing. Now, what you can also do with the app with X-Peng is you can move the car in and out of your spot using your phone. When I talk about technology on this car, I'm not playing around. Using your phone, you can move the car in and out of the spot. Like, that's absolutely ridiculous. So let's talk about the battery specifics, right? And one thing I want to talk about before we get into the battery specifics is the opening of the fuel cap to charge the battery. I've only ever seen this on an Audi e-tron and a Porsche Macan. Again, we talk about OEMs and manufacturers building more premium cars. Now, to talk about the battery itself, we've got the standard battery, comes in 270 miles, whereas the long range goes all the way up to 350 miles. Now, something else which is pretty cool with the X-Peng is it's built on an 800 volt platform. Now, you might be thinking, what on earth is an 800 volt platform? Look, put it this way, the X-Peng charges 10 to 80% in 20 minutes. That's rapid. Now, X-Peng have said that in future, they're looking to charge in 10 to 12 minutes. So there you have it, the G6, that's it, right? Look, I want to be honest, the Tesla Model Y is a phenomenal car, it's incredible. It was a market-leading EV. Tesla have set the tone, but as more and more brands become in this market, as a customer, it's the best time to get an electric car because we have so much choice. There's never been such a direct competitor to the Model Y, you know? There's never been such a direct competitor to other models and other derivatives in the market. So if you're a customer in the current market, now's your time because the prices are strong, but not only that, the choice is strong. You've got so many options. If this video brought you value, please like and subscribe it, fill up the comments. We want to hear from you, right? It really allows us to bring so much more to you. Other than that, my name's Luke, and I'll see you in the next video because we're going to be going through so many of these EV cars, and I'm really going to try and pinpoint the wins and improvement points in each one to allow you guys to make better decisions when you're choosing your cars. Other than that, let's stay on this journey together.